Next, we have the open-ended questions here for the 5.1 through 5.4 review, starting with problem number 1, which says that the graph of a function f is given below. Estimate the integral from 0 to 8 of f of x dx using 8 subintervals. And we know that whenever we're asked to estimate area, we could use left endpoints or right endpoints, but our best estimate is always going to come from midpoints. So I am going to choose to use the midpoint rule here. So the first thing that I'm going to find is my delta x. I know my b minus a is going to be 8 minus 0, and if I'm dividing it into 8 subintervals, that means that my delta x is going to be 1. So basically the base of each of my rectangles is going to be a length of 1. And then if I am looking at midpoints then, and I'm going from x equals 0 to 8 along the x-axis, that means that my midpoints are going to be my heights. So basically all of the 0.5 locations, right? So my first rectangle here is going to have a height right there. My second rectangle right here. My third rectangle here. And I'm just marking off my midpoints. All right, so if I were to go ahead and draw in what my rectangles would look like, that might help us visualize a little bit better here. So the areas that I'm going to get from these rectangles are going to be the following. And the last one, because the midpoint lies right on the x-axis, isn't going to give us any area at all, okay? But our area equation is going to be equal to our delta x times our f of 0.5 plus f of 1.5 plus f of 2.5 plus f of 3.5 plus f of 4.5 plus f of 5.5 plus f of 6.5 plus f of 7.5. Okay, so that is basically what I'm looking at here for my area. And then I'm going to use the heights. I'm going to estimate the heights based on the numbers on my graph. And now, of course, I've kind of covered up my heights a little bit here. So I'm going to try to redraw those so we can estimate them a little bit better here, my orange dots. Okay, so my area is going to be equal to my delta x, which is 1. And then f of 0.5 appears to be about 2.5 plus f of 1.5, I said was maybe slightly lower, was like 2.4, but again, these are estimates, so as long as you're close, you're fine. F of 2.5 is 1.5, about. F of 3.5 is about 2.25. F of 4.5 is about 1.6, and again, just pulling these off of the graph. F of 5.5 is now negative, right? That's going to be our negative 0.75. F of 6.5 was about negative 1.6. And f of 7.5 is 0. Okay, and again, it's okay if your numbers are a little bit different than mine. This is an approximation, right? So wherever you put your dot and whatever you thought that height was might be slightly different than mine. But basically, after I add all my numbers together in the parentheses and multiply by 1, I get that my area is approximately equal to about 7.85. So your value should be somewhat close to that.